So we'll start with the agenda. So in this session, the very first session, we are going to cover these topics, that is Oracle Cloud models, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, what we mean by these terms. Then we also discuss in general what are the benefits we draw out of Oracle Cloud, and as everyone enthusiastic to learn, what are the key differences between cloud and on-premise applications. And then also we will focus on Fusion Cloud Applications introduction. Then we will see how the cloud architecture looks like and how the Fusion will be deployed, what are the various deployment models, and then what are the technologies responsible behind the Fusion applications. And we will also discuss in brief about the Fusion enterprise structure, because you must have already worked on different applications earlier. Now with Fusion application or HCM cloud, how the enterprise structure looks like, we'll discuss in brief. And then finally I will share what are all the curriculum we are going to cover in this particular training. So first we will focus on cloud computing. So this is the latest terminology used across the industry. Lot of times you must have heard about cloud or cloud computing. So cloud is a hosted computing environment which delivers the software, platform or infrastructure services to the business users through a network. So if you want to define this in simple terms, it is the ability for the end users to utilize parts of bulk resources, and these resources can be acquired quickly and easily. That is the best way of defining the cloud computing. And in cloud computing we have three distinct categories. One is SaaS, popularly known as software as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So let us little bit elaborate on these cloud categories. So software as a service, SaaS, is deployed over the internet, and PaaS can be defined as a computing platform which allows the creation of web applications quickly and easily, which doesn't involve any complexity of buying and maintaining the software and infrastructure underneath it. And whereas infrastructure as a service is a way of delivering cloud computing related infrastructure. When we say infrastructure, the servers, storage, the network, operating systems, these are all given as on-demand service. So these are the three informations generally which we come across when we talk about the cloud computing. So in other words, the cloud computing is a model of enabling convenient on-demand network access to the shared pool of configurable computing resources. Okay, so what are the computing resources we come across? Like what we saw about servers, storages, okay, all these things. So basically a cloud computing is a on-demand service, and which will be resourcing the pool, and it will be available to multiple customers with a common infrastructure. And this is where we have all the three different categories. So the software as a service is deployed over the internet. That means the end users or the customers who are adopting the software as a service will get the applications on demand through a subscription, or we will say it as a pay as you go model. That means how many users are going to use that application, accordingly they will be paying to the service provider. So for example, service provider is Oracle, so that's why it is Fusion Applications is Oracle product, or it may be Salesforce, whatever the case may be. So the service providers will provide the applications to the end users or the customers as a pay as you go model, and accordingly they'll be able to use those applications. And as we all know that SaaS is a rapidly growing market, and it has gone up to such an extent that sooner it becomes a commonplace within every organization. And that's why it is very important for us to understand the technology of the SaaS applications and how it is suitable, how it is applicable, so that we learn and be within the industry as a technologist, as a software person, so that we'll be able to go along with the market requirements. So in contrast to the on-premise applications, the software as a service will have little differences, which we can see on this slide. So traditionally, the on-premise applications like the PeopleSoft or JD Edwards, or if you say e-business applications, for these applications, we generally put them as on-premise applications, where the customer has to invest a lot and customer has to own the upgradations and the patching. And these on-premise applications are having a data center and hardware costs which has to be borne by the customers, and any customizations has to be made, which will be very costly to create as well as maintain. Okay. Whereas on the other hand, the cloud applications, it will be like a rent, a flexible service, that is pay as you grow model. So there is no license, it is only subscription based, and there is no IT support required, rather than the users will be business users, and the infrastructure is maintained by the provider, say again for example Oracle or any other such providers. Okay. And you will be able to access the applications with a standard security, and you can access anywhere, whenever, with any type of device like desktop or laptop or any such things. And there is no upgrades, basically, though they call it as upgrade, but mostly it will be based on the regular releases. So every after new release, they'll be improving the existing applications functionalities, or bringing up the new functionalities to make the application work more and more efficient way. And these releases, as keep on happening, the customers will be automatically given those advantages of the new applications or improvements in the functionalities, so that there is no question of stucking with the old version or obsolete version, and customers will be always on the current version of the particular applications. Like for example, the Fusion applications, when they released right back below before 5-6 years back, around 2010 2011, whatever functionalities available in the HCM applications, and if you look at today, there are so many releases came up, release 7, release 8, 9, 10, like that. It was keep on improving. In each release, either new functionalities will be added to improve the product, or the existing applications have been streamlined, so that that will be more and more suitable for the end users or the customers. So Oracle's cloud applications, we are going to learn about the HCM cloud of the Oracle. So the provider here will be Oracle. So Oracle cloud applications are a complete and modular set of enterprise applications engineered from the ground up to the cloud ready and to coexist seamlessly in mixed environments. So the Oracle Cloud applications are complete and modular set of enterprise applications. Here these two terms are very important because it is complete. When we say complete, Oracle as a cloud provider has introduced all the type of products which are generally required for the customers. That means Oracle has not only come out with the HCM solution, they have ERP solution which includes financials, your procurement, order orchestration, etc. They have CRM solutions, okay, they have project solutions. So all complete, it is a complete application, enterprise application. So any business users, whatever applications they want to bring into the cloud, yes, Oracle is ready to give that solution. It is a compute. At the same time, it is a modular set of enterprise applications. So it doesn't force the customers to take all the applications at a time. One customer may be interested in go for cloud on only HCM. Some customer may be interested to go with cloud on only on financials. So whatever, the modularity is maintained. So it is a complete and modular set of enterprise applications and engineered from the ground up to the cloud ready. So this is again one more important point to be stressed. It is built from the scratch. Many people must be in the thought process of that these applications, the Fusion applications or cloud applications, are an extension of PeopleSoft or an extension of, say, for example, Hyperion or an extension of Oracle E-Business. Nothing like that. Oracle has got these products. So e-business is the Oracle's own ERP application. Same way they have acquired over a period of time PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, Hyperion, Siebel, etc. These products continue to exist, but when it comes to the cloud applications or the Fusion applications, Oracle has built them from the scratch. Okay, so they are not extension to any of the existing applications. So they have engineered from the ground. So from the scratch, the applications has been built and they are cloud ready now, so that any customer can take any solution. And also they are ready to coexist. Coexist means the existing customers may be running certain applications on maybe PeopleSoft or e-business or so, and they can continue with their existing applications and coexist. That means plug and play some of the Fusion applications or the cloud applications. For example, if a customer is right now using PeopleSoft core HRMS, okay, and only for the purpose of performance management they want to use the HCM cloud, so they can continue with their PeopleSoft core applications which may be on premise, or then they can plug and play the Fusion performance management only for the appraisal purposes. So that's what we call it as a coexist model. Even that is also available as a solution to the customers. So Fusion applications are integrated suite of business applications which connects and automates the entire flow of the business processes, and that is the reason they'll be addressing the needs of the global enterprises. So nowadays most of the business is global business and the enterprises are also global enterprises. Okay, nowadays there is no such boundaries. When a business started, maybe the headquartered in one country, but there may be operations having across the globe. So it the cloud applications is suitable for such global enterprises so that they can automate their entire business flow process and address the needs of different countries or different legislations across the globe. And also these applications are designed to ensure your enterprise can be modeled to meet legal and management objectives. As I said, when you have business across multiple legislations, each legislation may be requiring certain requirements, basically on the uh, tax laws, etc. So to meet those legal and other management objectives, these applications are designed and maintained in such a way. So available as a SaaS subscription or with a license to install on-premise. Though we say Fusion applications are cloud applications, but still, if some customers wants to implement them or install them as on-premise, yes, we are ready to give that. But at the same time, mainly they have built with a cloud model in mind, but still somebody wants to install them on premise. Yes, Oracle is ready to give that. So mainly SaaS, but they can be licensed and installed on premise. With Oracle Enterprise grade cloud applications, you get the benefits of cloud plus more power, more choice, and more confidence. So, what are those more power, more confidence informations with the Oracle Cloud the customers will get? So, some of the benefits which we can see derived out of the Oracle Cloud: lower IT infrastructure cost, because the customers need not to invest much on the infrastructure, because the infrastructure is centrally maintained by the provider, maybe Oracle, from a common data center. So infrastructure costs from the end users or the customers is reduced. And because the data center is managed by the provider, there will be lower operational expenses. We need not to have large resources to maintain them, lower maintenance cost, ability to access the service via standard platforms. That means end users will be able to access the cloud applications on a desktop or laptop or even with your smartphones, mobile phones, etc. And license model is no more in use for the cloud applications. It is pay per user, and software is managed from the central location by the provider, in this case Oracle. And any patches issued time and again to improve the performance of the application, that will be applied automatically by the provider, that is automatic patch application. If at all there are some upgrades, basically the releases, so automatic software upgrades, that is also taken care by the provider. Faster time to value and return on investment for the customers, and mainly the customers will have a very rich user experience. The rich user experience is maintained by improvements in the user interfaces. The pages what the end users will be able to access are designed very attractively, as well as the way we work with the applications is also totally changed, because nowadays everything is a business flow, or we say a process, and all those processes are combined into some work areas. So we come across with these technologies, there are work areas. So if you want to work with, say, for example, payroll applications, there are different work areas available in the payroll. So you can go to a specific work area, and in that work area, you will be able to see different business flows. So you first select the work area, and in that work area, you select the related business flow, and accordingly, the user interface will open, and the customer will be able to work on that user interface accordingly. So the streamlining of the processes, the streamlining of the navigation, which will give a rich user experience. So how is the company's cloud computing strategy coming along? It's up in the air because everything is on cloud basis. So probably a small joke. So now why Fusion and what it solves? So Fusion applications were designed from the ground up. As I said, it is not an extension to any existing application. It has been built from the scratch, and they make the use of latest technology advances. Like a lot of technologies are involved. For example, if some of you maybe worked on e-business applications, in e-business the approvals are based on the AME, right? Whereas now in Fusion applications, no more AME is in use. The approvals are based on the service oriented architecture and the business process management model, BPM and SOA. So like that, they have made use of the latest technologies within the Fusion applications and incorporate the best practices gathered from Oracle's thousands of customers. So here the provider is Oracle. We are specific to Oracle. That's why now onwards I will address the provider as Oracle. Okay. So the Oracle has got so many customers in the market, and Oracle is already having a lot of products. So they have taken best out of them and built these applications as the cloud applications. And these cloud applications are 100% open standard based business applications so that you can integrate easily and efficiently. So now we look at the top 10 reasons why we need to go with the Oracle Fusion applications as the SaaS solution. Give business optimal performance and value. Runs Oracle's modern Fusion applications out of the box. So many informations, so many processes are streamlined in such a way that we need not to do anything. We can implement them and straight away best practices are already given so we can make use of them in our business. Provides a comprehensive social relationship platform for engaging customers, partners, and employees. So, as most of you must be aware, in the HCM cloud applications, the social relationship is also embedded, what we call it as network, social networking. Okay, so these applications, using all these applications, we'll be able to manage the customers, partners, and employees through social networking. Or we can say in simple terms, we can get connected with the people very easily from the applications or within the applications. Drives new levels of social intelligence and reporting. So we have a lot of intelligence reports, which are real-time reports, not historical reports. So for that, they used a term called OTBA, Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence. Optimizes past integration with Oracle Cloud Applications, Platform as a Service, so that you have been associated with a lot of developmental tools so that you can integrate anything with the cloud applications. Like you can integrate uh, maybe some outside applications like Microsoft or Google Analysis, etc., and places more autonomy and decision making in the hands of the customers. Offers customers world-class security and architecture. This is the very need of the hour because every business user definitely wants a wide range of security and world-class architecture because the business are nowadays global business, and definitely at the same time we want the software security so that our data should not be visible to the others. So with the Fusion applications, we can have those world-class architecture and the security applications, and allows customer to set their own timetables for upgrades whenever a new release comes up from the Oracle side. That will allow the customers when they can go for that new release upgradation so that your applications will have an improved performance, and liberates money and time for the customers because of the completeness of the end-to-end solution, and state-of-the-art data centers and the global operation. Of course, these are all the points which from the Oracle side that okay, Oracle is going to be then a good provider for the SaaS applications. Okay, as I said, we are learning about that's why I want to put those points. Okay, then cloud implementation starting point. So whenever a customer decided to go for a Oracle Fusion applications or Oracle Cloud applications, so the provider will provide a cloud administrator user. Initially, the business user or the customer, one of their employee, will be made as a cloud administrator user, and then that cloud administrator user will be given certain roles. And to your information, now the Fusion applications or the cloud applications security is totally based on the role based. We call it as role based security, which we'll talk about when we actually go ahead with the lessons. So the first user will be created and that user will be given certain roles to give access to the applications. So we have some roles like application implementation consultant, security manager, etc. So with that roles, the customer or the end user will be able to access first the applications, and from there they'll be able to start implementing the cloud applications. So already we have seen some of the differences between the cloud deployment and on-premise. To continue with that, especially, so the cloud customers, what access they will have basically when we talk about cloud or SaaS application software as a service, many people will be in the impression that whatever the provider has given, based on that, we will be able to customize like what we do in PeopleSoft or eBusiness or in Hyperion or in CBR, etc. But now there are certain restrictions from that front. So the cloud customers, those who have taken HCM Cloud or any such application as a SaaS solution, they will have no access to the database, no access to the JDeveloper, no access to the ADF, Enterprise Manager and Application Server, Java or PLSQL coding, no access to the service-oriented architecture, have no access to business intelligence applications and data warehousing. You cannot configure any new data sources. So these are the some of the restrictions. In the sense, you will not be able to have the backend access, so that you will not be able to customize the way we able to do the on-premise applications like PeopleSoft and eBusiness. Okay, and more or less you can say in simple terms, the cloud applications are not customizable, but they are extensible and configurable. These are the two terms Oracle uses. You can extend the applications, you can configure the applications as your business requires, but you will not be able to customize much because you will not have basically backend access to many of the informations. And the cloud customers will be always supplied with two environments, one for the testing and other for the production. So you will be doing all the testing on the test environment, and then you will be deploying them on the production environment, and offered services on a subscription basis, not as a licensed product. So here is how the cloud architecture looks like. The cloud architecture is a three-tier architecture, where the first tier will be always the product families, the application product families like your Fusion Financials, Fusion Projects, Fusion Human Capital Management, etc. The first layer. And the second layer is the Fusion Middleware, where you have all the servers like your Oracle Business Intelligence, your WebGate, your Web Center, Identity Manager, HTTP server, SOA suite and BPM suite, data integrator, all these are available in the middleware. That's why it is very important to go with the cloud applications. You need to have the Fusion middleware. So middleware contains all your backend information. And finally, of course, database, which is housing our data. So database is the third tier. So this is the brief architecture of the cloud. Then the Fusion applications, as we said, we have the choice of adoption. So even though the cloud applications have been released, the Fusion applications as released by Oracle, it doesn't mean that whatever existing applications they've closed down. So still you have the eBusiness suite, still you have the PeopleSoft, still you have the Siebel. So those customers who have already adopted those applications and running, they need not to, or Oracle is not forcing them to move to Fusion. So do nothing, no immediate plans for Fusion. That is fine. They are still going to support those applications. Or you can go for a coexistence model, that is mixed environment. That means existing core applications, whatever you are running, you can continue with them and plug and play some of the cloud applications. Like I said earlier in the example, you can continue with your PeopleSoft core HCM, but only for the performance management or compensation management, and try out the Fusion HCM. So that is what is the coexistence model. And replacement of pillar or a suite of applications. That means a customer may be having eBusiness Financials, eBusiness HRMS, eBusiness say CRM applications, all are on eBusiness. Now they want to try out HCM completely on Fusion. So only they will move HCM to Fusion, complete HCM, and financials and their CRM continue to be on the eBusiness. So that is what we call it as pillar or suite replacement scenario. So these are the different options offered by Oracle for the customers, so that they can adopt any of the model. Okay. And when we talk about the coexistence, what are all the applications available as the coexistence model? It's not that every application within the Fusion is offered as a coexistence. So there are some restrictions. So if you look at this figure, you can see a particular customer may be having a core HR applications of PeopleSoft or eBusiness. Okay. Along with that, they may be having time and labor, payroll, benefits, etc. But only thing they don't have right now the compensation management. They don't have right now the performance management or goal management. So instead of implementing those as the e-business or PeopleSoft, now because the cloud solutions are available, they want to try out Fusion performance management or Fusion compensation management. So they can do so. So only the Fusion performance management, goal management, talent review, and compensation management. These are only available as the coexistence scenarios. That means if an existing customer is having a core HR application but doesn't have any payroll application of PeopleSoft or eBusiness, and if they want to plug in Fusion payroll, that is not possible. That payroll application has not been given as a coexistence solution. Benefits application has not been given as a coexistence solution. Only what is available as a coexistence solution is only compensation management, and you can say talent management, which includes your talent review, performance management, goal management, etc. So there are certain restrictions, and these are the some of the technologies used within the Fusion applications, as we discussed already. So the latest technologies, like for UI, they have used the ADF technologies, okay, application development framework. Then we have backend technologies like database, 11G, and of course they have. I think they are moving to 12C also. Then order orchestration, SOA, service oriented architecture for your approvals, in along with the BPM, business process management model. Then MDS, metadata services and web center services. For security, they have used the Oracle Platform Security Services, and also some additional technologies like Enterprise Scheduler Service, especially for the process running and request running. Whenever you want to draw some report or you want to run some process like refresh process, etc., they are all now called as scheduler jobs, which in e-business it is called as a request submission. So that is what is the enterprise scheduler services. So now I will try to give a brief idea about how the Fusion application enterprise structure looks like. Now in Fusion applications, there is no more business unit, there is no more business group, operating unit, etc., which are very popular in the e-business applications. Okay. So now everything is an enterprise. That means one enterprise or one customer. Whether your enterprise is a global enterprise or you are operating only one country, whatever the case may be, if a customer wants to go for the cloud applications or the SaaS implementation, that customer will be identified as one enterprise. Okay. Say for example, ABC enterprise, and your enterprise acts like a boundary wall. Within your boundary wall, you have everything implemented, and that boundary wall is separated from the other customer. So boundary wall is there in between. So that's what we call it as a hard partition. So customers to customer, there is a hard partition. So one customer's data cannot be viewed by the other customer, because when we built the house, as we all know, we'll have a compound wall, and next to that another house will be there with a compound wall. So between these two houses, no movement. Okay. So like that, it is a hard partition between the enterprise to enterprise and one enterprise for the customer, and within that enterprise they can place their global business. So for example, here there is an ABC enterprise which has got a ultimate holding company on the top, which is ABC Corporation, okay, on whose name the entire business grows. Let us say it is a global company, and they may be having two different products. They have cement operations, they have the chemicals operations. Okay. So these operations are the product wise business is identified as the divisions in the Fusion applications, and that divisions may be operating in multiple countries. So this customer may be having cement plants in Singapore and India, and maybe having chemical factories in India. So the Singapore cement operations and India cement operations and India chemical operations, they are the actual legal entities because they are the registered businesses within those countries. Or in simple terms, we call them as legal entities. So Cements Singapore is a legal entity registered in Singapore and do the business in Singapore. So they are bound by the legislation laws related to Singapore. Same way, cements are also operating in India. So ABC Cements India is another legal entity, abide by the rules and regulations of Indian legislation. Same way, chemicals. So though they have two divisions, cements division and chemicals division, those are the products of that particular business, but they operate in multiple countries. So each country operation can be a legal entity, a registered company, and this is for the HR purposes. But when it comes to the payroll, definitely the country-wise rules applicable. Like if a person is working in India and draws some salary, they have to pay the taxes as per the Indian government's legislation. So working in India, you cannot pay the taxes as per Singapore government. So though a person works in Cements India or Chemicals India, ultimately they are receiving the payments within India and they have to abide by the tax structure of Indian government. So whatever legal entities are there in a particular country and whatever employees are working in that country, for payroll purposes, they come out with one more information called legislative data group. And the legislative data group is basically partitioning the payroll data. So that's why if you see here, there are three legal entities, but there are only two legislative data groups. All the workers working for the Cements Singapore will be associated with the Singapore legislative data group, and all the workers, whether they work for cements or chemicals within India, will be associated with a India legislative data group for the payroll purposes. So payroll partition happens based on the legislative data group. In other words, now in Fusion applications, if you are implementing the payroll, any information related to payroll, for example, if you want to create an element, payroll element, system will first ask what is the LDG, and based on that LDG only, that element can be created and can be used only within that LDG. That means if I create an element, say for example, I want to create a special allowance element for Indian employees. So whenever I try to create a special allowance element, system will first ask this element will be under which LDG. When I say India LDG, then only it will allow you to create that special allowance element. And once you create that, that can be used only within India. You cannot use it in Singapore. For Singapore, you have to recreate with Singapore LDG. That's how it partitions the data. So within the Fusion enterprise structure, we have seen enterprise, it replaces the EBS business group as a primary data partition, and it is strengthened to support multi-tenancy requirements because it is a SaaS application. Multiple customers may be using the same infrastructure, so that's why it is supporting the multi-tenancy requirements, and has no cross enterprise data process. So enterprise to enterprise is hard partitioned, and the enterprise structure supports one global version of all work structures and people. So maybe your business spread across globe, you have been having operations in multiple countries, but one enterprise structure supports entire, and it is customer specific data within the enterprise. And as already I explained about the LDG, legislative data group, so it is a country specific data partition within the enterprise for the payroll purposes, supports the configuration of objects with a strong legislative context like payroll, absences, elements, etc. And LDGs are specific to enterprise, they cannot span across the enterprise. Okay. So these are the some of the highlights of the basic how the cloud, what is cloud and what are all the different categories of the cloud like SaaS, PaaS, etc. And as a provider, how the Oracle has come out with the cloud applications or cloud solutions, what are the different models available, what are the different models applicable, and we have already seen what are the deployment models, whether you can go with a pillar replacement or a suite replacement, or you can do a coexistence scenarios, and what are all the availability solutions for the coexistence. And also we have tried to focus on basically how a organization structure and enterprise structure looks like as per the cloud solution. Okay. So before I go ahead with the curriculum, which we are going to cover in this training in the next 20 to 25 days, you have any specific questions on what we have so far covered, you can ask me now.
Venkat, this is Apurva.
Sorry, please come again.
Hi Venkat, this is Apurva.
Yeah.
So Venkat, how is this Fusion HCM doing as compared to Workday? I think Workday is the closest competitor, right?
Yeah. Workday is the competitor.
So how is it doing in market, Fusion these days?
Uh, competition is always there. Tough competition is there, definitely. Like not only Workday, nowadays all other providers also in the market, like even what you say, Ramco Systems is coming up with their cloud solutions. Even SAP is also coming out with. But as you said, Workday is the closest competitor. But definitely, as a person, I feel myself that Oracle should do better because Oracle has got complete solution when compared with Workday. Workday has got only very fewer solutions, whereas Oracle is already established in the market. They have complete solutions in all the areas like financial, CRM, projects, everything. So definitely they are doing better, especially as I observed, it is doing very good in US market, Europe market, China, Australia, a lot of places, Middle East. Okay.
Mm. And career-wise, so this Fusion HCM, I mean, in maturity cycle, where is it? Like, is it at peak or it's still growing?
You can say more or less it is stabilized. You can say it is at almost 80% stabilized. Still, there is a scope, but comparing to other applications within the cloud, like Fusion Financials or Fusion HCM, Fusion CRM, if we compare these products within the Fusion of Oracle, highest already grown product is HCM. It is more or less stabilized. More than 80% stabilization you can see in the HCM. But still, releases will keep on coming and improvements are still expected. But comparing to other applications, HCM is more or less stabilized.
And about from the perspective of adoption, market adoption?
Yes, market adoption is very good for HCM.
Hmm. Okay, thank you, Venkat.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay. So let me just go through what we are expected to cover for this training. So as a part of Cloud Global HCM, we are going to cover these topics: HCM overview, introduction to Functional Setup Manager, which is a tool for implementation, geographies, enterprise structures, workforce structures, grade, jobs and positions, how you will define, how to manage the workforce life cycle, the transaction part, maintain worker directories, workforce profiles, and security, how we manage the HCM security. As I told, it is a role-based security. How to manage the approvals, workforce records, and the checklists. These are the part of global HCM. Then also we will cover talent management, under which we'll talk about goal management, that is goals, goal library, goal plans, mass assignment of goals. Then as a part of performance management, we'll see how to define the performance management related setups, like how to define the performance roles, questionnaires, matrix management, performance process flow, etc. And also we will see how we can make use of features like rating assistance, performance documents, performance templates, etc. Then in the absence management, we are going to cover about absence components, workers availability, how that is defined, what is the eligibility profile, how it will be useful, how to use the formulas to extend the requirements within the absence management, absence elements, absence plans, absence types, reasons, categories. And also we are going to cover payroll, global payroll. In that, we are going to cover overview of the payroll, how to define the payroll elements and the related information. So when we say element, deductions also will come in that, earnings deductions. So as a part of deductions creation, we have something called deduction card, involuntary deductions. Then we have some groups, event groups, object groups, payroll costing, balancing, payroll flow and payroll security. These topics will be covered under payroll. Okay. So these are the informations we are going to cover. Global HCM, that is core HCM, you can say, talent management, absences, and the payroll. Okay. So anything from your end?
Venkat,
Yeah.
Apurva again. Are we going to cover data conversion, like loading of data and integration with other systems?
Data loading I will cover. What are all the tools available and what are all the associated information I will cover. Data loaders we have. We will talk about that.
How about compensation management?
Compensation we are not covering. Compensation benefits, those are all we are not covering. We are covering core HR, talent, which are mainly having a lot of requirement in the market. As last time you asked the question, the adoption wise, most of the business users are looking at these solutions, talent management and the core HR. Of course, payroll having specific to some legislation, so we decided to cover payroll and absence. Whereas compensation benefits and these are right now or anytime you can see they will have very limited requirements. So maybe you can learn later, but as a part of cloud delivery, we are going to cover especially these so that you will have some idea on how the cloud or you will get equipped with cloud capability.
And are you going to touch upon like implementation methodology and implementation life cycle and
Yes, yes, yes. That is what is covered in the functional setup manager. Okay.
okay, all right.
Introduction to functional setup manager. That is the implementation methodology.
So that will be like what kind of project structure will be there,
Yes.
how they implement.
Yeah, that will be covered.
Okay. Thank you, Venkat.
Thank you.
Hi, Venkat, this is Ravi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venkat, myself, Ravidas, see, basically I'm in a core finance basically related to payroll.
Mhm.
I'm in payroll field for the last 12 years with experience of basically Indian payroll. But can you please help me how this HCM would be more helpful in this role part? What would be you would be covering in this area for me? Because basically I have been in different companies where the self inside software developed by them, application developed by has been used, but I'm looking for explore myself in like Oracle or SAP. So how Oracle can help me more in my career in the current scenario?
Yeah, because with the cloud adoption or the SaaS solutions, now the requirement is most of the times techno-functional because most of the business customers or the end users needing more or less functional consultants because the back end, the data center is managed by the providers, say for example Oracle. So definitely it is better way to equip with the functional knowledge so that your opportunities in the market will grow. So that way, the Fusion HCM, which is a top product within the Fusion applications, will help you to grow your career because already you are having some equipped with some technical knowledge. So if you have this
Right. Okay.
HCM, definitely that improves your career prospects.
Sure. Sure. Regarding this in payroll, basically we'll be covering all how the company is set up or how the configuration of elements and
Yes, yes, yes. We'll cover
generation
end
of.
to end, end to end. We'll start with setups and we'll show you the flow also, how a payroll can be run and what are all the different aspects of that.
Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Hi, Venkat. I'm Shiva.
Yeah.
It is, you said payroll and compensation management.
Hmm.
How these two are differed? I mean, as of payroll is concerned, defining the elements and using these elements and processing these elements, assigning these elements to various employees and getting the payroll and processing the payments.
Correct.
How about this compensation management? I'm little.
Yeah, good
I
question.
want to know the difference.
Compensation and payroll are basically go hand in hand. That means compensation is a module which not only focuses on the salary part of the worker, it focuses on the different awards given to the workers, because it is not only the salary who the worker will receive. Workers may be receiving some awards, like for example, your organization may be having a policy. Whenever you are transferred from one location to another location, they want to give you a location bonus. Okay. Or somebody newly joins in an organization, they want to give a sign on bonus or best employee awards. Or annually your organization maybe wants to give some company shares to all your employees, or they want to give a mass hike to their employees. These are all called compensations. Regular information what the employee will receive day to day is your basic pay, your allowances, etc. Apart from this, there are many other aspects which comes under the compensation. So for that, we need to configure some compensation plans, and while configuring those compensation plans, we have to associate the payroll elements. Okay, suppose you want to give sign-on bonus, I have to create a compensation plan called sign-on bonus, but I should have a sign-on bonus element which finally get paid to the employee. So that's why I said compensation and payroll go hand in hand, but compensation needs those setups separately, plans and all you have to create, who will be eligible, how they will receive and all, and then integrate that information with the payroll element and which will be get paid finally to the employees. That's why they are two different aspects.
Okay, understood. And next question is on performance management. You said if a client has Oracle EPS and they have core HR payroll and some other modules, and if they want to go for performance management, it's easy to implement performance management through Fusion and integrate that one to Oracle. Yeah.
Okay.
So how would it go hand in hand? Because see, there could be a lot of lot of data synchronization that should happen from R12 to Fusion, right? At least Fusion should have employees' information. Will it be a just upload to Fusion,
Yeah,
or how is it?
in a coexistence scenario,
Yeah.
there will be HR to HR integration. Probably I will show you that slide once again. Yeah. So your core applications may be like R12 or PeopleSoft 9.1 or 2, whatever the case may be. So your employees will be existing in your core HR application, whereas you are integrating the Fusion Performance Management. So there will be HR to HR interface will happen. What they call it as some warehouse, data warehouse, something they call it. So there will be HR to HR integration. So whenever you want to do a performance management, your employee information from your core HR application, say for example e-business, will be loaded to the performance management of Fusion. Appraisals will take place there. Final rating will be given, and that final rating will be again come back to the core HR. which you will be using for many other purposes within the core HR. So that integration will happen. It's a continuous.
Will it be only final ratings? In that case, we will be losing the information, right? Like there could be a lot of setups regarding the competencies or objectives.
Yeah, those things
If
can be
we
set
are
up in
not,
performance management of Fusion. Only you need employees to do your appraisals, right? Employee data will be in your core HR application, whereas rest all the performance related setups will be done in the Fusion performance.
but it is again in cloud, so that information cannot be captured in or transferred to R12. That is not possible.
That's not possible because you need only the employee's performance data in your core application. Whereas how that performance will be appraised, that is part of Fusion. So that you cannot, that setup data you cannot bring. Then you are basically implementing performance management in your e-business.
No. I'm not talking about the setup data. Yes, setup related, the data can be there in Oracle Fusion, not an issue.
Yeah.
But as of competencies of each employees or objectives of each employees, let us say, where I'm coming from is if if a client takes Oracle Fusion for, let us say, as it is a subscription basis, as you said, for 1 or 2 years, and in these 2 years they have implemented performance management using Oracle Fusion, and they have appraisals done in Oracle Fusion. After 2 years, in the third year, if they want to see which competencies we have rated for the employees and which objectives they have achieved, that information should be there in R12, right?
Yes, that will be there.
Okay.
That will be there.
So the parameters on which we are appraising the employees can be shifted, can be transferred to R12.
Yes.
Though we do the actual appraisals and rating in Oracle Fusion. This is what you mean to say.
That's possible.
Okay. And Venkat, the slides that you have shown are really nice. Even it was simple and it was quite understanding. The way message is conveyed is really good. Can we have these slides? Access to these slides?
Slides, probably I may not be able to share because you will have the recording available.
Okay, even if recording is also, because the thing is, slides would be quite helpful, but again, it is fine. But how the course material will be going forward?
I may be sharing some documents with you all, some important information. Okay. Otherwise, your source of information is only your recordings. Each session we will be recording and we will be sharing.
So session-wise recordings will be available.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you will be sharing some documents. And how about the instance access, Venkat?
I think you have the instance. Probably your Lakshman will be able to give more.
Yeah. Yeah, hi Shiva. Like we'll give the instance access for 3 months.
Okay.
Okay. The classes will be running on the latest version, that is release 11. The same instance will get for practice.
Okay. Fine. So basically, you will be providing us some remote desktop kind of.
No remote desktop. No remote desktop. It's a direct connection, a cloud. How you open your Gmail, Yahoo in the same way, you can just click on the link, you can connect. No remote desktop.
Oh,
we'll provide
good.
Cloud instance. Yeah.
Okay. And how the recordings will be shared with us? Is it through email or what?
Through Google Drive.
Google Drive. Okay.
Well, these and all, if you have there is relevant questions, we can have a discussion maybe after the session. Okay, if you don't mind, like if some subject related, yes, we can talk to Venkat. And
sure, no problem.
This process or whatever, rest we can discuss after.
Okay, fine, sure.
Fine, sure. Thank you.
Hi, Venkat, Ravidas here.
Yeah, Ravidas.
You are telling that compensation management will not be covering, right? Or is it to be separately taken? How is it? Because in one of the examples you were telling that apart from the normal elements of the payroll like basic and all, suppose if something a sign-on bonus has to be paid and all, is it element can be created by a payroll user, or again you have to learn in the compensation management?
No, element creation is common. That's why I told you the payroll and compensation go hand in hand. That means elements will be part of your payroll only, whether it is a sign-on bonus or a basic pay or a HR. Payroll will create them, but we link them to the compensation so that it will be get paid to the employee.
Okay. I'm not sure on the compensation management because not core HR, but can you clear me one clarification? Example, in compensation management, is it like that you want to decide based on the experience level and depending upon that all parameters like graduation or the studies, is it to fix it accordingly to the package and all that kind of it will be covered there? How is it?
Yeah. Compensation is all about who will be eligible to receive a particular compensation. You may be having some parameters. Say, for example, every organization will give their employees an annual hike only when they complete at least minimum 1 year of service, right?
Okay.
So, like that, parameters will be there. So, those are all will be set up in the company.
Okay. So, compensation management, if would like to train, so it will be taken a separate course again in Oracle Fusion?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey Lakshman, this is Apurva again.
Yeah.
Lakshman, you mentioned like if you want to discuss about the course and everything, other than this right now the subject, we can get in touch with you. Is there a good number to get in touch with you? Because I have been in contact with, I think Suresh or Ravi.
Yeah. See, I will give you a call on your number. After this call, you will get a call from us. I'll call you.
Yeah. All right, no problem. Thank you, Lakshman.
Fine.
Okay, then. Thank you very much. You can get clarity from Lakshman on other aspects. I think that's fine. Okay.
Thank you, Venkat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat.
So, Lakshman, are you available to talk now, or you want me to call you? Hello?
Hello? Yes, sure. I will have a call after this session.
Okay.